on. And then all of a sudden, this very small person in the back of the room was like, I'm here too.
Oh,
Funnier than mine last week, Tracy.
oh, way funnier than yours, Alex.
I think the funniest part is how much it cracks her up.
I get this from my grandpa. My grandpa's like the king of laughing at his own jokes before he got to the punchline. I feel like at least it got to the punchline.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day from wherever you are joining us. Welcome to another edition of the Digital Download, which is, I got it, guys, the longest running weekly business talk show on LinkedIn Live, now globally syndicated on the IBGN radio network. Today,
That sounds really good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
it really, it sounds like we've got something there, doesn't it?
Do you think?
You could be onto something. Today, our plan is to be speaking about how do marketing executives operate in tough economic times. We're hoping to have a guest, Eric Eden, help us with the discussion. Eric is a fractional CMO and likes to be fashionably late. He is an executive in residence at Information Venture Partners and has helped 30 different portfolio companies bring that unique perspective to our discussion. Before we bring Eric on, provided he arrives, we're going to go around the set and introduce everyone. While we're doing that, take as long as you like. Invite a friend.
Invite two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Ping
three.
them. Have them join us. We strive to make the Digital Download an interactive experience. Audience participation is highly encouraged. So, with that, introductions. Tim, would you kick us off, please?
Is it because maybe he doesn't realize it's Thanksgiving or something?
That could be. Well, it's Black Friday, hence the black.
Maybe he's out. Well, yeah, maybe he's out getting some bargains.
That's right.
TV or something.
You can't blame him, really, can you?
No,
really.
You need more stuff.
Yeah.
That's what the marketers tell you, anyways.
Yeah, let me introduce myself. I'm Tim Hughes. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite, and I'm famous for this gramophone in the back of
The little yellow thing next to it.
yeah, I'm famous for the book Social Selling Techniques to Influence Buyers and Change Makers, which isn't sending spam on social media.
I noticed the other day, Tim, that you've got an open reel tape deck behind you, and then you've got a little wool. Is it a wool drawing of it framed on the wall above it?
No, that's a signed photograph by Soft Cell.
You're kidding.
No.
How cool is that, eh?
How did Adam not know that, but I knew that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Excellent.
it me? Okay.
Thank you for that. Tracy, yes.
We're supposed to take a long time, right? You said, Rob.
Yes. Vamping.
I can keep talking if you want me to.
I think we're good.
Oh, maybe we'll have another episode about humor in the workplace today. My name is Tracy Morrison. I am calling into you from my mother-in-law's house today, hence the different background, but I do have my pink headphones, so you can't mistake me for someone else. Founder of TLB Coaching and Events, proud partner of DLA Ignite, and we're all about authentic marketing. So I'm super excited about this conversation today. And
Tracy, I've got a question for you about your background.
Sure.
Is it like Nadia's wardrobe behind you? Is that because there's like two doors? It's like a computer game, isn't it? Do you take
one is a door
Right.
and one is a closet?
Right.
Which is which, though?
I don't know. You guys have to guess. That's part of the game.
Well, the closet's the thinner one, maybe.
Oh, incorrect, actually. The closet's the thicker one. This one. That's the
Oh,
closet.
yeah.
It's got two knobs on it for the.
accurate.
Awesome, Tracy. Thank you. Welcome. Alex.
How long do we need to fill, Rob? Still no sign.
Still no sign, but that's
It's
okay. We
55
don't need to
minutes,
fill
Alex.
anything.
Okay, I
We
just
could
thought,
cover an hour.
I feel
just
like
by
watching
ourselves.
Alex brush his beard is like pretty relaxing.
yeah, there we go.
It's,
scruffy
yeah,
today.
that's how you feel relaxed. It doesn't cause
Why have you moved
tension
your mic
or
up,
a little
Alex?
irritation or
Well, it's normally hidden well out
Right.
of the way up here
Okay.
somewhere, but I'm trying to demonstrate that I'm a podcaster.
Like a podcaster.
Yeah, it's kind of.
you've got the
get it
man
into
bun,
my-
the beard, the mic. You're a total hipster.
There we go. The tats.
Yep,
You know.
there you go.
So yeah, good morning. Good
Did you have
afternoon.
avocado toast for lunch? Avocado.
I did yesterday, actually.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't. How did you know? Avocado toast with olive oil, not butter. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. No plat today though. No plat. I got a wonderful comment from Adam on Tuesday morning where I was wearing a plat instead of this, and he called me an utter begins with W.
No, that's not strictly speaking true. You offered that up as being one of the options, and that's the one that I chose.
There's a big difference.
Thanks, Andrew. So Andrew says, "Good afternoon, morning, everybody. Can someone tell a joke or do a dance to entertain the viewers?"
Oh, I talked about bringing my tap shoes, but I'm not my mother-in-law's, so I don't have my tap shoes.
What we can do,
And
though,
we must wave to Andrew.
Yeah, I was going to say we
wave.
can
Yeah,
wave.
wave to Andrew. So as we're going to go out on radio, what we do is we wave to Andrew and he waves back,
Yes.
but we can't see him. It's a joke.
Andrew did ask if someone could tell a joke. There you go. You didn't ask if someone could tell a good joke, though.
No.
That's like an Adam comment.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Alex. Welcome. Adam.
Did Alex actually say who he is?
I didn't. So my name is Alex Abbott, the founder of Sapiro and the creator of the Conversation Operating System. And I am thrilled to be part of this wonderful conversation today, with or without a guest, because I'm with you fine people and our audience. And I'm a proud DLA
Andrew.
Ignite partner. Sorry, I forgot to say that last week.
Andrew's just sent in a comment. He says one day he's going to send us a video of him waving back. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Would.
Yeah, actually, Andrew, if you post it on LinkedIn whilst we're live, we'll screen share it so everyone else can see you waving back.
Do it the day that Alex is hosting, because I have no idea how to do that from a technical perspective. Thank you, Alex. Adam, good morning. Welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Adam Gray. I'm co-founder of DLA Ignite with Tim, and I'm delighted to have Alex and Tracy on the team, and Rob, of course. But seeing as you're running the show today, actually, you're kind of taken as a given. I feel very, very privileged to be part of this this operation, and it's interesting that today was going to be about marketing. Because given that we haven't got a marketer here to defend themselves, really, not a guest type marketer, I wonder whether or not we should pose ourselves the question: is marketing past its sell-by date now? You know,
Oh,
is there still a role for marketing? And if so,
I will
what's that?
fight this fight.
Yeah, well, go for it.
No, it's not. I feel like the old way of marketing, just like the old way of sales, is past its best by date. And there's new things we need to be talking about that makes this work.
So I did an interview with a guy recently who's done research of CMOs. Now, really, you got to remember when you do research, you're looking through the rear view mirror rather than the front screen. But he has worked out that there are certain things you have to do if you want to do marketing, and these people are saying that they're successful. If you do certain things, then that enables organizations to be successful in marketing. And there's certain items that he says that if you do this, 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 and this, you'll find that the people are saying that they're getting success out of it. Now, obviously, we have to take their word for it. But why would they lie in a questionnaire?
There's a lot of people who lie about the success of their marketing.
But
That's what marketing was.
Have something marketing something in their title, don't they?
It's just, this is the thing. It's really interesting, actually, when you talk about research, because I took market research when I was in school. And one, people ask terrible questions in market research, which means you don't get good data. Two, people don't like to admit that they were unsuccessful at something. So even if it's in like a survey where no one knows who you are, people will still lie, not because they're trying to lie to you, but because they're lying to themselves.
Can I just say, LinkedIn users put up a really good point, but I don't actually. Bad marketing is past its sell-by date, but still firmly in the fridge.
Oh my gosh, this was like this cottage cheese in my fridge the other day, which I pulled out, and it was like so green. I was like, we have to use this as an experiment because like it was I think toxic though, because it like almost made you choke when you smelled the mold. But fun fact, bad marketing. Moldy cottage cheese.
What a great
With that, thank you, Adam. Brief introduction of myself. Hi, I'm Rob Durant, founder of Flywheel Results, a proud DLA Ignite partner. And I think we've found our topic for today. In fact,
cottage cheese?
Well, no, not so much.
Do you get Philadelphia over? Did you get Philadelphia over in Canada?
We do.
Philadelphia.
But not cottage cheese. We
Right.
get cream cheese. Philadelphia cream cheese.
Yeah.
Do they have Philadelphia cottage cheese?
Don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But it's wonderful cream cheese. Sorry, Rob.
That's quite all right. I mean, we're just taking. Let's change directions a little bit. The other day we had a conversation about something. Oh, hi, Will.
Will Shorten is saying, hi all, BTW.
Prior to that, Will said, great quote. They've obviously been in my mom's fridge.
I don't even want to go into my mom's fridge. No.
So the other day, we had a team discussion around what my daughter aptly named Spamageddon. Can we maybe touch on Spamageddon today? Would that be something?
Yeah, because what is it?
It's ham.
Right. So let's do that.
Lots
that
of
setup.
Is it bacon?
I don't think it will be tasty at all.
I went today. I went to the fridge and I got some
Spamageddon.
Spamageddon.
If
I
you've
don't
not-
think you actually keep spam in the fridge.
If
I
you've
think
not
it's
seen the YouTube
self-safe.
video, you probably don't know what we're laughing at.
I don't think I've ever seen you laugh so much, Tim.
It's my favorite video on YouTube. I have watched it so many times.
Will asks, is that a follow-up to Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot? You know, there's something there, Will. There is definitely something there. Spamageddon, as my daughter aptly named it, is what's coming in February. For those who are not aware, Google has made it known that they are tightening the clamps on unsolicited email. And I'm paraphrasing, and I don't have any show notes in front of me because we weren't expecting it. But the long and the short of it is, very soon, if your organization is credited with sending too many spam messages,
A tinny.
they will be blacklisted from Google's Gmail delivery system. What is too many? According to the research, it seems to be 3 per 1,000 messages sent. So that's pretty much everyone. Because I don't know about you, but how many messages do you find ending up in your spam folder to begin with?
Well, I think it's not just that, is it? It's if you think about somebody that runs an email marketing campaign and they think it's massively successful, they might have a 20% open rate, which is an 80% not open rate, which is 800 in 1,000 not being opened. And if you get 3 in 1,000 as a complaint, you get blacklisted. This is pretty severe stuff, isn't it, for people that are relying on email marketing?
Well, and the thing that's interesting about this is when you use the phrase relying on email marketing, like, have you really been relying on it? Because it's not like in February, your open rates are going to change, right? The same amount of people are going to consider it spam. So I think this is great because I think it brings to quote unquote email marketers' attention that this isn't actually doing anything. People are receiving it as spam. Not just now, but they have been receiving it as spam. So how am I going to look at this differently? And I mean, I think that's a good opportunity for people to do.
But surely, for most marketers, I mean, when Tim and I wrote a book together called Smarketing, which was about the moving together of the sales and marketing functions, and we were speaking to a marketer, and I think it was Tim said to him, it doesn't work. Oh yes, nice work. Sending emails doesn't work, does it? And the marketer responded by saying, "No, but you've got to do the basics." So the acknowledgement was that it doesn't work, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's the expectation of the business, of the world, of myself, of my KPIs, whatever the reason was. The idea that you would stop doing it was just not even on the table.
But
Fun fact for everyone here. I'm a marketer. I had an email service provider for a long time. I sent monthly newsletters on it. In March, when it was up for renewal, I was like, this doesn't create any value for me. It's like $500 a year. It's not like the biggest spend, but it's like $500 a year. That does nothing for me. So I downloaded all my names into Excel spreadsheet and canceled it. And it hasn't hurt my business. I think it's actually helped because now I'm not spending time on efforts that are doing nothing. I'm spending time on efforts that are doing something. And it's made a big difference. And this is something, I mean, honestly, this is something that I help people with, is seeing what are marketing activities that you're doing that have no ROI, that you are paying for, that you are paying somebody to do. So it's not bringing in any money and it double costs you because you pay for the service and you pay for the people.
The argument I've been given for email marketing is that, and I had this recently, and Mark Schaefer actually just has written an article and has actually included this. He actually argues in that article that he's just published that if you're putting all of your marketing efforts into LinkedIn, you're wrong. And the argument for email marketing is that one of the things about social media is that it's rented land. So what can happen is a big corporate like Microsoft can come along and can buy LinkedIn, and you have put lots of effort into it, and they can basically come and trash it. Or billionaire can come along and buy something like Twitter, and you put loads of effort in, and they can come and trash it. So you're building your company on renting land, and so it's been argued to me. And when the podcast went out, there was loads and loads of basically comments, which was the first thing you need to do whenever you set a company up is build an email list, de facto.
And I think it's not bad. It's not bad to have an email list. It's not bad to have, even if you're building on social media, to store that information somewhere. But I think what people miss is just having the email list, just collecting the email doesn't actually accomplish anything.
Yeah, I've had someone once said to me, I don't have time to talk to you about social selling because I'm too busy building my the mailer I'm going to send out. Somebody actually said that to me.
Well, I had a client.
And the thing is that we moving the conversation onto about Spamageddon, which is if you have an email list, fine. If that's what you want to, you have 24 hours in a day. How are you going to invest them in terms of marketing? If you want to do that, then that's fine. But what Spamageddon is saying is that Hotmail, Gmail are going to start looking at emails, and they already do this. So, for example, someone sent me a spam. They've subscribed me to their list. I didn't subscribe to the list, and at the top it says unsubscribe. If you do that, which I did, I know that Google will actually start. If enough people do that, that person will have their email banned. And I think it's fair. If you subscribe me to a list, I want to have your email banned, so I do that. But this is what's happening, is that more and more of those things, and what's going to happen is your ability to send more and more emails is going to get less and less and less and less and less.
Although it doesn't actually impact you from sending a good email to a small amount of people, which you could.
You're wrong, Tracy. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Because first you asked, do people actually rely on it? And our comment from earlier says bad marketing is still firmly in the fridge. They are relying on it. Does it work? That's a different question. But the problem is, and it's not so much the emails that you opt into, it's the ones that you're receiving that you're not opting into. Now it's not just harming your sales team or your marketing team. It's harming your finance team from sending invoices because every outgoing email is blacklisted. It's harming your HR team from recruiting because every email is blacklisted. The CEO waiting for that important email response from the VC who never received that email because their domain was blacklisted. There are implications that people aren't even thinking about when their email gets blacklisted. And I can tell you for a fact, some of the alternatives are, just warm up alternate domains and send from there. That's all well and good. You've scorched the earth for your domain, and your marketing team is going to move to another one, but your CEO isn't.
I'm interviewing Amanda Wild next Friday. She's got examples where people have done that, where she says, upstairs, the CEO are basically emailing their clients and they can't get through and they don't understand it. Downstairs, there's an ABM program going on, which is basically spamming their clients, and they've had their domain removed. And people upstairs don't understand what's going on downstairs, and the fact that, as you say, Rob, there's this scorched earth policy going on.
But isn't the issue this? So everybody knows that I'm anti-advertising. But the fundamental thing that advertising has in its favor is that I show something to you, go, ta-da, what do you think of this? And if you're interested, you respond to it. Now, the challenge for advertising is that there's myriad channels for advertising and loads of people competing for them. And the stuff all goes past so quickly that we don't notice 99.99% of it. But assuming that putting that aside, the fundamental thing advertising has in its favor is I show you something. If you like it, you click and say yes. And then we have a conversation. The fundamental problem with email marketing is that I send you something and you say, I don't want to hear from you again because you've sent it at the wrong time. With advertising, I produce an advert and I show it to you. And the worst thing that happens is you just ignore it. With email, the worst thing that happens is you hate me as a result of sending you another email. Now, people will argue, but if you've subscribed to an email list, it's because you really want it. You really want that content, as we all know, because and therein is part of the rub. We click yes, I'll subscribe to that email list in order to get that 10% offer or whatever it is. But 99% of the emails that come from somebody unsolicited, it's different if it's one of you guys or a client that I'm talking to, but for people, for the most part, 99% of it is unsolicited, and I immediately block it or delete it or mark it as spam. But the issue for organizations is that, yes, you want to build an email list, but it's really difficult to build a big email list. Therefore, you have to go outside of that and go for lookalike audiences. So you're reaching out completely cold to people that the AI or whatever has suggested might be a similar lookalike audience. And that's a good way to spread bad feeling outside of your immediate audience, isn't it?
Well, and the other problem is when a brand or an organization makes it that one step too difficult to unsubscribe. So that you're then more likely to hit the spam button because it's easier to unsubscribe.
It's when you go to unsubscribe, and as you get close, it moves.
Or people create like so many lists and they like subscribe you to a whole bunch of lists, and then you can only individually unsubscribe for the list. So you have to like
Time stealers.
Okay, so I've got a Mac. An email arrives in my inbox. So what we are recommending to people is you scroll up to the very top of the email and click the thing that says, it looks like this comes from a mailing list. Do you want to unsubscribe? And you click that button rather than go to the email to the bottom of it and click the unsubscribe link.
I do both. And create a rule so that it always goes into the bin afterwards.
Belt and braces.
Absolutely. And suspenders. Which is braces in America.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that.
It's entirely different.
No, braces in America go on your teeth.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the thing I always wonder about these types of marketing efforts, especially if people are like depending on them, right? Like, we all experience spam email, right? Like, I don't think there's anybody on the planet who has an email address who doesn't experience spam email. So we know what it's like to get spam email. We know the experience of the receiver, yet still from a business perspective, we create it. This is the thing that's
different. That's different, Tracy, because my product's really good.
And so I wanted, while you were talking, Adam, I thought of an example because there's a local chocolate company called Jacek Chocolates. I don't think they sell internationally, but anybody from Canada is listening, you should buy them. They're delicious. I'm on their email list because I love their chocolate and because I know one of the owners. But every single time I get one of those emails, I open it and I don't always buy chocolate, but I'm always interested to see what's there. There's a handful of business. One of my favorite email newsletters is from a lady I met on LinkedIn, Sarah Beth Burke. She does research on professional identities. And every time she sends an email, I'm like, this is so good. And I think she sends them, I don't know, once a month. I don't even think she has a regular schedule of sending them. The chocolate ones come out when there's a new collection, right? There's no regular cadence. But because I have a relationship with the brand, I have a relationship with the email. But I don't have a relationship with the brand because of the email. I have a relationship with the brand because of something else. And I think that that's something that a lot of businesses miss in the email, is that they think they're building a relationship with the email. And personally, I've never seen that happen. I've never seen someone build a relationship through email.
Seth Godin famously said, Adam told me he did anyway.
Must be true then if I said it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Seth Godin said, what you should do is not send your newsletter 1 week or 1 month and see how many people ring up and say, you didn't send your newsletter out.
Right.
But that is alluding to an email list that people have opted into. I contend that the majority of the spam email that I receive are from emails that I clearly did not opt into. How many email list providers are out there, having collected my email from this or from that? And that is probably a problem bigger than the ones that, well, yeah, I clicked this to get the 10% off, but I really didn't want your email to begin.
The thing that it's very difficult in Europe now with GDPR to be on a list. You will have probably subscribed. The thing that I get hit with most of all, and unfortunately LinkedIn don't, even though LinkedIn, so the big issue is people scraping data off LinkedIn. I get, and they even start off, I saw your details on LinkedIn, but there's never anywhere that I can go on LinkedIn and actually report the person for scraping data.
And a lot of times those people aren't even using an email service provider, where I think a lot of the, like if you're using Gmail or MailChimp or any of those, like they automatically put the unsubscribe mechanism into a mass email. But if people are just scraping your data and sending you emails, they probably don't even have an unsubscribe like button.
I responded to one guy and he said, I don't know what emails go out. He said, I just respond to the responses. This is what gets sent is nothing to do with me. I just respond to the responses. And I think, it was LinkedIn user who said, won't AI email writers just make things worse? And yes, it will do. I've had clearly probably a ChatGPT written email where they talked about it was quite funny because it talked about Adam, the founder of DLA Ignite, and
a good way to get off on the right foot, eh?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, going back to the Spamageddon, I mean, it's got to be. I know figures. So I'm not allowed to say anything for the moment about people sending email out and getting little or no response. It was interesting on this podcast because I basically presented data. I said, if you look at HubSpot say, and they've got 120,000. So this is results from the whole of HubSpot's 120,000 customers, because they presented this up on the internet during COVID, though they've deleted it now. Though I took loads of screenshots, so it is available. What they said was that the email is now a 98% failure rate. But what I got on this podcast and then the debate on LinkedIn was opinion. So even though I had a debate and was saying, this is the data, you need to be, and I go, you need to be a data-driven organization, but here's my opinion. What? No, I'm arguing from the point of data. It's like, yeah, but this is my opinion, and my opinion beats data every time. Okay.
And especially
it's not an opinion, it's alternative facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the American way of saying it.
Is an opinion a form of data? Someone's experience?
It's alternative facts.
Okay. But yeah. Wow.
And this, I don't know. I feel like for a long time, in a lot of different areas of society, but marketing being one of them, people are looking for the easy button. Like, what's the easiest thing I can do? Yeah. Oh, it's easy for me to send a lot of emails, right? I write an email once and I send it to a whole bunch of people. 10% of people open it. Woohoo! But like, so we're doing things because they're easy, but we're not doing things because they accomplish anything. Why? Why do we market? Right? I always think that like we were talking about marketing and sales earlier, right? Marketing's job is to open the door so that it's easy for sales to have a conversation. If that's your goal of marketing and you're sending out a whole bunch of emails and they're not opening the door to any funnel, then it's not doing its job. And if an employee wasn't doing their job, you would fire them. So if your email marketing isn't doing its job, you should fire it.
But so much of this,
the argument about you should do it because you should do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because
that's what we've always done.
So much of this is putting the cart before the horse, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to buy a new email marketing platform that gives us better stats, and it gives us more flexibility, and it gives us a faster opportunity to turn around the split test. We're going to get the data and we're going to cleanse the data. We're going to spend a huge amount of time cleansing the data in the run up to us sending our first of the monthly mailer out to people. And we're going to double check the data, and we're going to reconfigure the machine and make sure that it talks perfectly to our CRM system and to our marketing department who are doing the posting on social, and to the telesales team. We're going to make sure it does all of that. And oh my God, it's the day before we've got to send the mailer out. So, hi everyone, I thought I'd just let you know that Salesman of the Month is Tim. And it's like no thought is given to what's actually going to be sent out, and everything is given to the mechanism for sending out.
Yeah.
So Tim and I were dealing with a client a couple of years ago now, and they had one of the glamour.
They had Salesforce's email.
Is it Salesforce? Right. So they had they had a prestige email marketing tool, and I kid you not, we were told this tool that we have is not fit for purpose, so we're changing to this tool, one of Oracle's.
Eloqua.
Yeah, and that will make all the difference. So you've got a 0.001% open rate and response rate, and you're going to change to a different platform, and all of a sudden that's going to revolutionize everything. And the problem is that these people in the UK, they've sat through their Chartered Institute of Marketing exams, and everything that their qualification has taught them and their education in marketing has taught them is based on how things used to be, not on how things are today. And the only way that we get back to the golden age of marketing is doing what Leo Burnett did, and all of those bunch of people in the 20s, where they actually do something innovative and new and fresh and different, rather than just walking the same course as before.
Can I bring out Andrew's comment?
Sure.
Which is, it's not, what about affiliate marketing emails? You subscribe to Adam's best newsletter ever, but I also know Alex's new newsletter about hair knots, and how do you stop them?
I mean, I'm interested in the hair knots, but this is something that's actually, so it's actually in Canada, it's not allowed. You can't force somebody to. Oh, hair knots are allowed. Knots are good. But so I signed up for. I did this online test, personality test, and in order to get your results, you have to sign up to be on the email list, right? So you're like, okay, fine, I'll sign up to be on the email list. I don't care. I'll get the results, and then I don't care. Which is what a lot of people do when they're opting in for your lists, by the way, because we all do that. So other people are doing it too. But this one was opt in for such and such and affiliates. So now you're like, I don't even know how many emails I'm going to get from this. And it's in Canada, that's not allowed. In Canada, you can't force someone to opt in.
Officially, GDPR regulations are the same, yes.
Okay. So you can't. And so I'm sure there are still people who do it, but technically you could be reported to the CRTC and then lose your ability to send emails as well.
However, the company that has got you to sign up does have a registered office in Panama to avoid exactly this situation, don't they?
And this is the thing. So if we've gotten to the point where we have to trick people into signing up for our email list,
manipulation,
is it really a win to say we have X amount of people on our email list? You trick
for marketing when they are paid by how many are on the email list.
That's true. Wrong KPIs.
I'm reminded of a line from Into the Woods where Prince Charming says, "I was born to be charming, not sincere."
So we had a client years ago, travel client that was basically the size of their email list was a key variable in terms of the value of the company. I mean, this was about 15 years ago, and email marketing to consumers was really, really big then. I mean, it still is today, but the size of their email list and how active that email list was contributed to the valuation of the company. So they were very, very concerned about unsubscribe rates and email list growth rates. But to your point, Tracy, and Tim, it can have a negative effect if all you care about is the size of your list and not how, engaged your customers are.
A lot of what we've been talking about here are lists that companies have, I'll use the term lightly, legitimately grown. That is, people have opted into them. And the conversation starting with Spamageddon, my line of thinking was very much around these lists that you did not opt into. So I imagine those that have grown these lists will have February come and they will continue to send because, hey, these people opted in. I'm legitimately allowed to send them. The problem with this Spamageddon is that doesn't matter. How many lists have I opted into, knowingly or even unknowingly, and then later said, this is spam and marked it as such? Not that it had any effect at that time, but now it's going to. So even saying, well, they've opted in, they've double opted in, is not going to protect your marketing team, is not going to protect your HR team, is not going to protect your domain at all.
But I think there's a difference here between what should happen and what does happen. So, you know, the point is that we all know what should happen. We know what the right thing to do is, but people are lazy. You know, so I'm going to send as many emails as I can until this domain is blocked, and then I'm going to spin up a new domain. And I'm going to send them all from that until that's blocked. And there will be agencies that will be saying to their clients, this is exactly how we get around that issue. If you think about what search engine optimization is, it's the best legitimate example of this. And that example is that Google works really hard to make sure that when you search for something, you get the most appropriate results. So yeah, you get the paid results, which are how Google monetizes their database of all of content that's in the accessible web. But the organic listings are listings that the Google algorithm thinks are the most relevant, most credible, most appropriate things to answer the query that you've typed into Google. And SEO is absolutely about gaming that system. So rather than making my content more appropriate or better, I'm going to make Google think my content is more appropriate and better. And the reason is because it's a hell of a lot easier to change the SEO on your page than it is to make your page appear more attractive by getting more backlinks to more high quality sites through having good content and good relationships with those. This is exactly it. People are going to look at this challenge and they're going to say, how can I sidestep these regulations that I don't agree with? And the reason I don't agree with them is because it suits me not to agree with them. Not because I don't think they're the right thing, because we're all of us. Even the spammers are inundated with spam. Everybody wants less spam. We just don't want less of my spam. I want less of your spam. And that's
So
the problem.
back to the comment from LinkedIn user, won't AI email writers just make this worse? I mean, we're already in a world where knowledge and content is available to everyone now through generative AI, and in some cases, generative AI is going to be writing these emails. So that will further dilute any value that's left of email. And therefore, to your point, Adam, doing things that are different from a marketing perspective, things like we're doing today, where we're having a chat. Our guest didn't show up, so we're just having a bit of a chinwag about some pretty key topics for marketers. But Adam, you're on mute, no?
I am. Sorry. Incidentally, LinkedIn user is James Robinson.
Hi, James.
It's been in check.
Hello, James.
So I think that means that people should be stepping up and getting in front of the camera and doing things that means it's obvious that they're a real human being with a personality as opposed to an AI chatbot.
But do people know how to do that?
No.
This is the challenge, right? Like anyone, like probably my 5-year-old could figure out how to send an AI content generated email on an email service provider, right? Like I don't need any special skills to do that. I don't need to know a huge amount about the company even. That's easy, right? I can do that. But when you're saying now this is about people having conversations with people and building relationships with people, then all of a sudden people are like, I don't know how to do that. I've been a marketer for 20 years. I just sit behind a desk and I send emails and write blogs and count how many people read things, right? But I think that's the direction of the opportunity. I think if we look at marketing from the perspective of marketing's job is to open a door to say, like, here we are, come in, join this party. This is the party that's happening in here. Then we have to, one, accept the fact we haven't been doing that. We haven't been. So let's just check our egos for a second and say, okay, market it. Maybe we thought, although if you look at the data, I don't know how you could think this, that we were doing that, but we're not. So how are we going to? And how would we as a brand open that door to our party?
Well, isn't this what marketers are trying to do when they build communities? But then, the problem is they're not then treating everyone in that community as a human being. They're still marketing to them.
Well, and I think Apple is an interesting example here, because I think Apple does a great job of creating a community and inviting people into it and then upselling people. They're like the geniuses of that. Now, does that mean that every single person has that experience? No, right? Because once you've gotten to a place where you have that many people you're trying to create community for and belonging for, you can't, right? Like, it's not possible to do that for 8 billion people on the planet. But most brands, like, this is the thing I always think is interesting. Apple still has less than 50% of the iOS market. Like, it's not the industry leader on iOS. It's a small, I don't know, last I thought was 27% or something. It might be bigger now, but I don't think it's 50. And
what do you mean by that? Sorry.
The cell phone market, Tracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like people, like lots more people use
More
Android.
people buy Android.
Google and Samsung's, right, other things. And so, but it doesn't feel like that.
No, but Apple do have, they have, like you said, 27% of the smartphone market, but they do have something like 80% of the smartphone profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because they've got just a very intelligent profit model, right? And it's different, but people don't buy it because of the pricing. Like, it's expensive to get an iPhone, right? People aren't just like, this is the cheap one, so I'm going to get it. That's not why you choose an iPhone. You choose an iPhone because you want to be part of something, right? You want to be part of this community of innovation that Apple has created, which doesn't exist with other smartphone.
No, but I think that the point is that Apple have got a very different model for how they empower customers. So you can go into an Apple store, you can take your Apple laptop, you can probably do it with a PC if you don't mind being laughed at, but you can take in your MacBook, you can put it on the counter, you can use their Wi-Fi, and you can literally work in their shop all day, and at no point will anybody ask you to leave. At no point. They are genuinely there to try to help you, and as a result of that, you do not feel pressured into buying from them, but you do buy from them. So none of the geniuses or people that work in the store are incentivized to sell stuff. They're incentivized to help you, and when they've helped you, you think, actually, this seems like a really good buy. I'll buy one of these. That's how they make their money. The problem, in my experience, for organizations that say, we want to build a community around our product or around our business, you go, that's a really good idea. And then at some point during the conversation, they say, and we're going to monetize that by doing, and that's exactly the wrong point. The point is, we learn
behind you, Rob.
I know. I heard the footsteps coming.
we learned really early on that the best way to sell things was not to sell things. The best way to sell things was to genuinely try to help people and give them good advice. And then if they choose to buy from you, great. If they choose to go somewhere else, okay, maybe they'll go somewhere else, learn their lesson and come back to us at some point in the road. Maybe they won't, but they weren't the right fit for us. But as soon as people talk about monetizing, it's again about shortcutting that thing. I want you to buy from me because you want to buy from me, not because I've spammed you into it or tricked you into it or offered you an incentive. It's not about that. It shouldn't be about that, should it?
And I think, I do think it's different too, depending on like what you're selling, right? And how long you want to keep your clients. I always say this, if you're selling a bag of crisps or chips, that's transactional, right? I'm probably not going to have a huge relationship with the vending machine, but so that's fine, right? If you want to say like you go to the grocery store and they're like, these chips are 3 for $5. Well, maybe I'll buy those chips instead of the other chips, right? Because I don't have a relationship.
And that's when brand really matters, right?
Right. But on the other side, there are things that, like, I'm a big fan of Disney, and Disney doesn't go on sale. Right? You can get night packages, like buy 5 nights and get one free, but you can't go to the park one day and get a discount on your.
There's no Black Friday sales for Disney.
No. There might be on merchandise, but there's not on like experiential things, right? It doesn't go on sale. And there are lots of things that, like, I don't know that Teslas go on sale, right? They're for sale, but I don't think they go on sale, right? Like, this is also about, like, who are you as a brand? Because yeah, it's easy. Like, I don't even want to look at my email today because the number of Black Friday emails I got yesterday on Thanksgiving, and it's not even Canadian Thanksgiving, but like, this is annoying. This is supposed to be Thanksgiving. You're already like, Black Friday early. Like, get out of my inbox. And like, I know my husband did some Christmas shopping yesterday because he's like, well, I might as well get a Black Friday deal. But
I've done all my Christmas shopping today.
Right. So like, but people are buying it because it's on sale. They're not buying it because they want to or they have a relationship with your brand. They're buying it because it's on sale. And if you want to be the brand that only sells stuff when you have a sale, then that's fine. But you have to look at what you're selling. If you're selling lamps, sure.
But I'm just going to back up what you say, Tracy, which is that as consumers, we're educated. So I've known for weeks that we've got Black Friday. So I've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I've actually, Adam can tell you this, I've got a half an hour booked out on my calendar today saying Black Friday, which is where I went online and bought all the things that I knew I was going to buy and bought them all at a discount. And I've saved loads of money.
Nice.
And that's a bit of a joke at the end about saving loads of money.
But I like,
and when you think about it, you made money, didn't you, Tim?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Can we all expect nice gifts then this Christmas?
Yeah, in the Secret Santa.
Anyway, I think there's just like a lot of things, especially from a marketing perspective, email being one of them, that we do to do things. And we don't think about, how does this reflect on our brand? How does this create an ability to build relationships with people? Or does it? Like, my family drives Mercedes. We all have Mercedes. Our family has probably 8 Mercedes. And I don't think that we would buy anything besides Mercedes, because 15 years ago, my dad built a relationship with the guy at Mercedes. And now he just like, we'll call him and be like, hey, we got this new model in. If you want to come take it for a test drive. All the well knowing that like my mom and dad, there's 2 of them. They have 3 Mercedes. It's ridiculous. But like, that it's a brand my dad trusts. And he won't trust any other brand for like any of us to drive. He has 3 daughters, he has 2 grandchildren, and he doesn't trust anybody else to keep them safe besides Mercedes. But that's not because he saw a Mercedes ad on TV. It's not because he saw a Mercedes email in his inbox. It's because he has a relationship with the guy at the dealership. The product has been good. We've had a few like significant accidents where like everyone has been safe, and maybe the car has been destroyed, but it like kept the people safe, which is the point. And like, so, but that doesn't come from the advertising. That comes from other things. So it's okay. If you have the budget, do the advertising. If you don't care, I mean, everyone should care about the spam thing, because yeah, if people aren't getting your invoices now because you sent too many emails, it's something to take into consideration. But it also allows us to look at, do we really need that? We're spamming people with email right now. We're quote unquote depending on it. Are we? Right? Is that actually a relevant part of our customer journey, or is it just something we do?
Yeah, but remember the old joke about the man and his wife kind of goes nuts, and he takes her to the doctor, and he says, Doctor, my wife thinks she's a chicken. And the doctor says, well, you need to have her committed. She needs to be put in an institution. And the man says, well, I would, but we need the eggs. and you know, the reality of this is most people know this stuff isn't working, but it's better to be a busy fool than somebody that isn't busy. And that's most people's view. If they don't know what they should be doing, surely it must be better to do something. maybe of all the thousands of emails I'm going to send, some are going to land and might just keep us afloat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We came into today with the question, how do marketing executives operate in tough economic times? I think we're wrapping up today with the
Is
question.
the guest here?
No. I think we're wrapping up today with the question, how do marketing executives operate in tough economic times? Because
Send more email.
more of the
No.
same.
Sammy.
The solutions
But-
from the past are clearly not the solution going forward.
And can I just I want to say something about operate, right? Because I think when we use the word operate, it makes us think of doing things. And I think what we need to do here is think differently. And so if there's an opportunity for marketing executives to think differently in tough economic times, and instead of saying, oh, we have this thing, let's just do more of that thing, and you see that and it's not working, yes, we need to operate differently, but in order to get there, we need to think differently first.
Yes.
And Andrew says that Adam has the joke of the day.
Yeah. No,
That was a typo.
reference to the-
That was a typo.
Oh.
You meant to say is joke of the day.
Oh, man. On that note, let's bring it home. This has been another episode of the Digital Download. If you have something to say, and if you're able to make it to a scheduled appointment, we would love to hear from you. Visit us at digitaldownload.live under the Be Our Guest section.
Don't
Or-
email us. Yeah.
Don't
No.
email us. For those of you looking on screen, we have a QR code bringing you directly to the application. We would love to hear from you. We would love to have you on the show. For myself, for the panel, for the audience, this has been another fantastic episode. I wanted to thank you all for being a part of it, especially for just winging with it. Thank you, guys. This has been a lively conversation and a lot of fun. Until
Thanks
next time.
everybody for winging it. Thanks,
Thanks.
James, Andrew, James.
And Rob, it was lovely to see your cat palace being used.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Background.
Hey, when we go